Welcome to Parlay Power Hour, aka the best hour of your day. I am joined by the one, the only G Money, Grant Mitchell. Grant, how you doing today? I don't really care, but I figure I would ask.
What I was doing great until you started with this negative attitude. Come on the show with some positivity. What's wrong with you?
You were chirping me all night long during that game, and I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, because you made a stupid bet, and I tried to warn you on the air.
You know what was not a stupid bet, though, Grant?
Let them know, Tanner.
Chris Godwin to score the first freaking touchdown of the NFL season. That's the best bet. Plus $850, $100 bet on that. You're going to get $850 on a $100 bet on Chris Godwin. That's what we did. We locked it up. We're living high today. It's a big weekend for us. That's all that matters. Who cares if the game didn't go? Who cares if the game did not go under, Grant? Nobody gives a shit.
Well, that wasn't even our pick either. That was just our advice. And we also, my pick of the day was Antonio Brown anytime touchdown scorer for plus 210. Look what happens. Plus 850, plus 210. Nobody else out there is doing that.
Antonio Brown fucking bent me over in fantasy and just like destroyed me on my bench, which sucked. But hey, you know what? I probably should have went with him, but we're going to be positive. We have a lot of good receivers playing this weekend, and you know what? They can score 22 points too, Grant. What do you think?
Yeah, guess what, guys? And Tanner left Antonio Brown on his bench and started Ezekiel Elliott, who had $2,
who else was I going to start?
A foot-long sandwich, and played some rolled dice on the sidelines.
Who else was I going to start, Grant? Like at my running back?
Nobody. Your team is trash.
No, we're not. We're not trash. You're trash. You're fucking trash.
His name is Tanner's Terrific Team, and he's terrible.
Because I don't give a shit about that league, Grant. I'm just going to win it with my eyes closed. That's what happens. That's what my team does. I rally them. Hey, we got to, what is it? I heard this on a podcast. All right. Got to love the process. Got to compete every day. That's freaking Bo Pelini right there. That's what I tell my team every day when we get ready to go play a game. Anyways, Grant, who the hell was I going to start at running back? Zeke was the dude.
Yeah. He was your first overall pick.
He was my first pick.
You had the worst first pick in the entire league. Like, it's not even close.
Who else would I have picked?
Anybody not named Zeke.
No, Grant, no. All right, this is Parlay Power Hour for September 10th, 2021. Caesar Sportsbook, Sports 20 RF, first free bet up to $5,000. Shout out to Arizona, too. Arizona just launched sports betting yesterday, and apparently people are, like, rushing to the sportsbook like freaking rats. Like, they just need it. The people, Grant, don't want the picks.
The people need the picks.
Damn right. That's what we're seeing in Arizona right now. Arizona sports betting has officially taken over the state of Arizona. This is the best hour of your day. Subscribe to the network as usual. Let's get into it. We'll do Yankees, then we'll go down to our lock because that kind of has something to do with the Yankees. Yankees money line versus the Mets in the Subway Series, Grant. Listen, the Yankees are freaking dog water. They were never back. And I don't know if you've heard, Grant, but the wild card runs through Boston.
Yeah, I have heard. And by the way, Tanner, I have the fantasy football draft results pulled up right here. So that's gonna be my final thoughts. Don't run away from that one because I'm bringing the thunder on that one. I'm taking the Mets. I'm taking the Yankees here to bounce back against the Mets. Minus 126. They're still favored, even though they just got embarrassed in New York, which I would like to point out that I correctly predicted. I said this series is either going to be a sweep or they're going to lose one game, but I still picked them to beat Garrett Cole on the day, and that was the day that the Yankees would have won. So, you know, I'm patting myself on the back there. I predicted the Blue Jays were going to sweep them. They're now a half game out. The wild card does run through Boston for now. Might run through Toronto relatively soon. Dog water, as the Yankees may be, the Mets are worse. I mean, I feel like we keep talking about Javi Baez, and I thought it was kind of cool when he went to New York, but I also realized that it wasn't going to change their fortunes that drastically, and it's done even less than that. I mean, they're 70-71. They threw away the playoff spot. They got Tyler McGill going for him in this one. He's 2-4, the 4.2 ERA. Jordan Montgomery for the Yankees has been better, 5-5 with a 3.47 ERA. Like it or not, the Yankees still hold a wild card spot right now, and they are 78-62. So I don't expect them to lose this one too, because as embarrassing as a sweep to the Blue Jays was, you know, the Blue Jays can get as hot as pretty much any team in baseball, and the Mets simply do not do that. They are one of the most inconsistent teams. They struggle to score. Yankees bounce back today, minus 126.
I mean, I don't hate it. I like the Mets kind of just because the Yankees are trash how do you get swept by the Blue Jays at home in the Bronx? That's just embarrassing. Yeah, I wish I would have been at the game because the Yankee fans must be going nuts right now. I like Tyler McGill. McGill was good for like one game though, honestly, and then he kind of fell off the map. But I think he's made some big pitches this year. I mean, I think the Yankees, like, you lose 4 games to the Blue Jays. I don't know what's going on in their head right now. And I feel like they're not in a good mental space right now. I don't think they are.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely rough for them, but it is the Mets. I mean, technically the Yankees are on the road, but come on. And they I guess they're used to being up and down all season. This one's super down because that's very disappointing. But it's not like they haven't at least bounced back and won games after they've gone on losing streaks before. So I'm not totally convinced they're going to lose to the Mets, who just kind of stink.
I will say, though, the Mets are playing for absolutely nothing right now. So this is kind of like their Super Bowl in the sense of it's New York. Let's go beat the Yankees. Who knows? I like the Mets tonight just because I hate the Yankees. Miami Dolphins versus New England Patriots. You could have got this at -2.5. I have it at -2.5. So if it hits at -2.5, I'm a winner here. But I'm just saying the line adjusted to -3, so you might get a push on a field goal. This game's going to be close. That's what it comes down to. But you know what, Grant? This is the first coming of the new franchise quarterback of the New England Patriots, Mac Jones. We saw what Tom Brady did last night. Mac Jones will be doing that in 20 years. I guarantee it. Mac Jones is the future of New England. I think he shows up. He takes care of the football. Patriots run the ball effectively. If they come out, they run well. I really think they have a great chance to cover in this game. Miami, we don't know what we're going to get out of Miami either. I mean, Tua is going to struggle, I think, in the pocket. I believe the Patriots defensive line and front seven is just going to absolutely destroy him. Now, he is a mobile quarterback, so we got to think that, but he definitely would rather sit in the pocket and throw the football. So I like the Patriots in this one to cover. I've been really impressed with what Mac Jones has done. Just saw the news. Cam Newton said he would have served as Mac Jones's backup, but Mac Jones would have been comfortable. Mac Jones's girlfriend is also showing him, like, walking through plays in the yard with him. That means she is all in on winning a Super Bowl. Patriots cover -3, -125.
I think the Patriots cover -3. I think they cover -6. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown.
Really?
No coach in the history of football has dominated young quarterbacks like Bill Belichick has. And I know that Tua's in his second year, and he wasn't thrown into the fire. He got to sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for a little, and then later on when he was struggling, Fitzmagic would bail him out. Of course, we've got Fitzmagic going for us, and we're going to smoke the Chargers, Tanner. But that's a different story. The Dolphins lost Kyle Van Noy. He went from the Patriots. He spent a few years in New England, went to Miami for one season. He's back in New England now. So not only did the Dolphins lose him, the Patriots got him. I think that's a pretty big deal. Patriots also spent upwards of $280 million in free agency, which they've never done before. You got, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. You brought in a bunch of weapons. You solidified your defensive line. Like I said, you got Van Noy back. I really like what the Patriots did. Tua has no sort of explosive capability. All of last season, he had the Dolphins as a whole had 6 touchdowns of over 20 yards, by far the worst in football. I think the Patriots very comfortably win this game. I don't think Mac Jones is going to have the season that Justin Herbert did last year as far as rookie quarterbacks, but I think he's going to get off to a similar pace in week 1. I think he throws for, let's say, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, somewhere around there. Patriots get it done easy.
I mean, honestly, I think Mac's not going to have a good statistical year at all. I think the one thing he is going to do well is take care of the football. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, we got a good defense. We don't need Mac Jones to make these amazing throws down the field. Just got to take care of the football, run play action well, be good in the short to intermediate passing game. Patriots cover, lock it up. More football here. Cardinals money line versus the Titans. This is our risk bet. Grant, you picked it, so I'm going to let you go with it. I love the Titans, but I do think the Cardinals could come in there, come across the country, and beat the Tennessee Titans. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for me to really look. I want to say that I like the Titans because I liked them the year that they beat the Patriots in the opening round, and obviously they got to that AFC Championship game before they lost. So I feel like they're still riding off of that reputation and the fact they have Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and now they've got Julio Jones too. I don't want to diminish that at all because and at their positions, those are 3 of the best guys in the league, no doubt about it. And Ryan Tannehill has been really good since he left Miami as well. But the Titans are returning 12 of 22 starters last year. That's tied for the lowest mark in football. They lost both of their coordinators. Their defense wasn't that good for a head coach in Mike Vrabel, who was, a stud over there. And it got worse because they let go of Jadeveon Clowney. Their corners are suspect. They have no real consistency in that front seven. I think it's going to be really hard for them to slow down a Cardinals offense that is overflowing with talent. I mean, if we're making a Super Bowl based on the on-paper rosters, the Cardinals would probably be in there. Now, whether or not they put it together with Kyler Murray, who we know is still young, that's a completely different question. But I think the Cardinals, they're in the toughest division in football, no doubt about it. I think they have an outside chance to win it. I've got them finishing second. Titans are probably going to win that division just by default, but I don't think they're going to be that convincing. And I think they lose to the Cardinals here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me the Cardinals come in and beat them. But I think if the Titans come out and control the clock and run the football well, I do think they're going to win this game. And, you got to shut down big play Kyler Murray and make sure he doesn't beat you and, make him earn every yard. But I do like the Cardinals in this game. Grant, I'm going to stick with you here. I think I picked the Titans, though. I picked the Titans throughout the week. So you picked this, but I'm going to ride with my partner here.
You're hedging your bets. This is what a smart bettor does.
That's what a smart bet.
It's a risk-free bet, Tanner. It's not your money.
Okay, risk-free. I'll go with the Cardinals then at plus 130. Here's our lock. Grant, when have you ever seen a freaking run line be minus 170? Very few times this year has a run line been minus 170. This is our lock because the Orioles are not good at baseball, number one. It doesn't even – I know Robbie Ray's pitching today. He's been Toronto's ace. But it doesn't matter who was pitching. You could put me out there for the Toronto Blue Jays. They would cover right now. They must be riding so high after going to the Bronx and beating the Yankees in 4 straight games. Blue Jays run line with ease, minus 170. I would not bet this straight up. I would never bet this straight up just because there's absolutely no value. Anything can happen, but throw it in a parlay. Why not? If the Blue Jays can't cover against the Orioles, and they're at home too to top it off, I believe, Grant, right? Yeah, no, they're in Baltimore.
The Orioles are at home.
Orioles are at home, so we got to figure that. See, that's the way you're supposed to write it if they were playing in Toronto. So that was my bad. But Blue Jays to cover. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And by the way, Taylor, it's actually been bet up to minus 176. So
we got 170.
Yeah, we got it in there just on time. Yeah, I mean the fact it's been bet up to minus 176 tells you even with this ridiculous minus 170 on the run line, people still think the Blue Jays are gonna win it, and they probably should. Back-to-back 4-game series for the Blue Jays here. You swept the Yankees already. You did the hard part. Can you sweep the Baltimore Orioles? And I mean,
is there a doubleheader? Or they play on Monday.
There is a doubleheader in there. Yeah, it's a makeup from I think August. I don't know. I could be wrong, but if you do, it's hard to sweep any team in baseball in a 4-game series. Let's put that out there. But if they can pull it off, rip off an 8-game winning streak. Or actually, I think they would be on an 11-game winning streak. No, because going into New York, they just swept the A's. So if they do that, they might be in control of the wild card. It's hard to if they sweep the Orioles, it's hard to imagine they don't at least have a wild card spot, but they very well could have the top wild card spot. Vladdy Jr. just hit his 42nd home run. Marcus Simeon's been on an absolute tear. These guys look unstoppable right now. They look like the team that when we said the Blue Jays are going to run this division in 2 to 3 years from now, they're playing like that team right now. So it's just a question of can they keep it up.
Blue Jays have won 8 straight games, and they have won 11 of their past 12. So they're rolling there. Toronto gets the win. Wild card runs through Boston, though, Grant, just to let you know. Wild card will always run through Boston. Even if Toronto comes to Boston, they will get beat because the wild card runs through Boston. That is Parlay Power for September 10th, 2021. G-Money, what are your final thoughts for the day?
Oh, I'm so excited. My final thought is let's listen to this fantasy football draft order, guys. I had the first overall pick. I took Christian McCaffrey. Then we go Dalvin Cook second. Tanner Kern had the 3rd overall pick. And he's asking, who was I supposed to take? Who was left on the board? He took Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke was the
third
highest ranked
overall.
running back. Zeke was the
He
highest ranked
took
running back.
Ezekiel Elliott over Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Austin
You
Eckler.
wouldn't take a tight end in the first round. Tight end second. You'd take a running back first. I took Zeke. Zeke's gonna have a big year, Grant.
No, he's not.
Of course he's not gonna have a big year against the freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the best rush defense in the NFL.
But that has nothing to do with it. He's gotten worse ever since his rookie season. And the first 3 seasons, sure, the first 2 after the first season, sure, they were marginal drop-offs. But last year he averaged 60 yards a game. He was terrible last year.
Everything on him because freaking Dak got hurt. That's why, Grant. And they shut it. So if the freaking Red Rocket's playing quarterback, you really think I'm going to say, hey, let's I'm going to say let the Red Rocket beat us. I'm not going to, or whoever else was playing quarterback when he got hurt.
Did you watch the game last night? Zeke finished with 11 carries and Dak had 58 passing attempts.
Because
he had 4. This has nothing to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having a good run defense. And the whole first half, the guy they paid $100 million to be their running back just a year ago had 4 carries. If you think
because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Grant.
If you think somebody's going to lead your team and you're paying him $100 million, you give him more than 4 runs. Zeke
when you don't trust the offensive line. They didn't have Zach Martin in there either last night, Grant. Just watch.
That doesn't matter. The offensive line was good last night. The offensive line was good last night.
Wasn't good enough, obviously, run football, Grant. They didn't try to run the football.
Yeah, because Zeke is cooked, and you had the worst third overall draft pick in fantasy history.
Zeke was the highest ranked running back on the board. I go off the numbers. I go off the projections. It's an analytical game, Grant. That's what fantasy football is. That's why I picked him. That's what you need to know. My final thought is the wild card runs through Boston. Grant, you suck. F you, Grant. We will see you tomorrow.
Hold on. That's been the final thought for a week. Can we get something new?
What, the wild card runs through Boston?
Yeah, you're stuck on the same thought. Is it the concussions coming back to haunt?
Here's what I'm going to talk about for my final.
Got one thought in there.
Here's what I'm going to talk about for my final thought. Hunter Renfrow has released. Did you hear this story?
I did not.
Hunter Renfrow, I have to read the story. It came out last night, but Hunter Renfrow said that the MLB and the Red Sox, the MLB told the Red Sox, when all these COVID cases were breaking out, to stop testing the players, to just treat the symptoms. So now the MLB and the Red Sox have denied Hunter Renfro's claim. Yes, it's pretty crazy. So I don't know who I stand with, Grant. I don't know who I stand with. If I stand with Hunter Renfrow, I stand with the whole team. I don't know. Renfrow won the game for us the other night. So it's a big decision for me, Grant. But I'm gonna look into that, probably write an article on that in a little bit here. But that's my final thought, Grant. Red Sox, you know what? Families fight, but families come back together and they win baseball games. I don't know why Renfrow would say that, though. I think that's freaking stupid. So I got to go look at the clip.
I mean, I'm not super familiar with Hunter Renfrow, in terms of his personality. Is he a diva, or is he normally kind of quiet?
Not a diva at all. Quiet. There's been times I've seen him play on the road or whatever for the Red Sox, and there's been in New York. I saw him play in New York, and these fans were heckling the shit out of him, about his wife and stuff, and he just didn't say anything. He just blocks it all out. So he's a good teammate for sure. So it is weird he said that. I got to look into that a little bit. My friend texted me that story this morning. I'm like, well, I didn't even hear that. So big news, Grant. We got to figure that out. But you know what? When we do, wild card runs through Boston. And that was Parlay Power Hour for September 10th, 2021. Enjoy the weekend, guys. We will see you next week, Monday, for another episode of the Electric Factory Parlay Power Hour. Damn right.